Sunday live call-in show. TSR Live, of course, is brought to you by Gorilla Mind Rush, the #1 energy focus and concentration supplement on the market. If you want to support the show and become the most productive you've ever been in your life, go to donovansharpe.com/Gorilla Mind Rush. Joining me this evening is none other than Myron Gaines. Now, Myron is he's a great looking guy. I almost hesitated having him on the show because he's a much better looking dude than I am. He's got the beard game. He's got those perfect eyebrows. I think he's at like 4% body fat. You guys can see there. I think you're flexing for the camera.
No, you got the light skin, dude. You got me beat.
Good stuff. Myron he absolutely knows his shit, and he is here to share his wisdom with us tonight. We're going to be on for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, depending upon how the questions go. We're definitely going to be off by 7:30 because I got to watch my Eagles beat up on the Atlanta Falcons this evening. But Myron, just give us sort of a brief overview in terms of what you do in as far as the fitness community. What you do, you're an online fitness expert. You're an online personal trainer. So what is it that you do, and how did you get here?
Well, thank you very much for having me on the show, first and foremost. I'm 29 years old, live here in Miami, Florida. And, I've been working out now since I was 18, so just about 11 years or so. And, my thing is that in the fitness industry, there's a lot of bullshit out there, to be honest, to keep it honest. And with technology has made life a lot easier, whereas the internet has kind of bridged the gap between people, but it's also kind of made things hard as well because there's so much information out there that people a lot of the times don't know what to do. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, well, should I do this diet? Should I do this workout plan? Should I do that? And it's almost too much information for people to process. And what I like to do is I kind of like to come in, figure out, hey, what are your goals? Are you trying to build muscle? Are you trying to burn fat? Are you trying to look more aesthetic? Are you trying to improve your endurance? And going from there, then I just prescribe what's best depending on what their goals are and what my expertise are. Like I specialize in aesthetics, building muscle, losing body fat. That's something that I also pride myself in knowing, and getting people in shape. I used to row in college, so I do have a background in training for endurance.
You're one of those guys.
Yeah, yeah. One of the Harvard guys, the enemy Harvard.
Rode with guys whose names were like maybe Field or Pennington, guys like that. Chaz, right?
Yeah.
When we think of
guys throw against Chad on the Charles River in Boston.
That's what I'm saying. Like
sorry?
The Winklevoss twins, who, by the way, helped Mark Zuckerberg found Facebook. The Winklevoss twins. Winklevoss. I don't even know what their names are, but just the Winklevoss twins. I mean, Of course, they went to an Ivy League school and they rode crew. But anyway.
Yeah. So I did that. I did that at Division I level, so I'm familiar with training for rowing as well. So those are my expertises, and also powerlifting. I did powerlifting for a little bit, so I'm pretty well aware of how to periodize a program, progressive overload, training off percentages, that type of thing. So those are my 4 expertises right there. But yeah, that's my thing is I really like to give people the truth, and and a lot of the times I have to teach people the basics again because there's a lot of misconceptions out there. Like, hey, what kind of supplements should I buy? Well, I ask, hey, how many hours a night are you sleeping? Oh, 4 hours. Well, dude, you got to put, you're putting the cart before the horse. You got to get the basics down first before you even go down there. So sometimes it's a lot of time reminding people that what's really important.
Excellent. Before we get into the questions here, and I've got questions that my patrons submitted. We've got a few questions to get to. If you guys have any questions, put them in the chat. If you want to call in and talk, it's 914-205-5356, area code 402. I see you in the queue. I'm going to get to you in just a second. Our first conversation was very informative. And one thing that you made very clear to me was how you felt about diets like the keto diet, the paleo diet, intermittent fasting, et cetera, et cetera. What are your thoughts on this kind of dieting? Is it good? Is it bad? How do you feel about it?
So the reality is there's no best or worst diet. It's only what's best or worst for you. And the number one thing I ask someone if they're on a new diet is, can you adhere to this? Can you sustain this? If the answer is yes, then it's a good diet for you. But my thing with keto, intermittent fasting, all these diets is most people can't sustain them. That's not to say keto is bad or intermittent fasting doesn't work. It's just that the average person can't sustain them? How many people do you know, you go into the office and they tell you, hey, I'm trying this new diet, keto, I'm not going to eat carbs. Right. And they might lose 10 or 20 pounds in a month. And then, another month passes by. They're like, I can't sustain this crap anymore. They go back to eating carbs and they gain all that weight back. You know what I mean? And to me, that's not a good diet. A good diet is something that you can like maintain lifelong. And if you can't maintain it lifelong, it's not a good diet. So there's many ways to skin the cat, but you got to do what's best for you and what is congruent with your lifestyle that will make it sustainable.
Excellent. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to bring on, pardon me, give me 2 seconds here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring on the first caller. It's going to be area code 402. Area code 402. You are on live with Donovan and Myron. What's your question?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
What's going on, guys? I love your show, man. I need some advice about this losing weight and getting back in the gym. Back when I started, I was 6'4", 6'5", weighing around 290. I want to get down about to maybe 230, 220. Join the Marine Corps. So that's my goal right now. I'm just trying to see how to get started. Right now in the mornings, I hit the gym, drink a smoothie, and right now that's about it. I just need some advice.
All right, Myron, what you got?
Okay, sure. Okay, so are you in the Marine Corps right now, or are you planning to be in the Marine Corps?
Not right now. No, I need to drop some weight. I'm planning on it.
Okay, you got to drop some weight before you get in. Well, yeah, man. So what I suggest is obviously get on a weight training program, at least 2 to 3 times a week, a regimented weight training program where you're prioritizing compound movements, right? Compound movements, for those that aren't aware, are like your squats, your deadlifts, your bench presses, your rows, your pull-ups. Prioritize those movements. You can do isolations, but, save those towards the end of the workout. Track your calories, figure out how many calories you're eating per day. And then once you figure that out, put yourself in a slight deficit and lose the weight slowly, methodically, and sustainably, most importantly, because at the end of the day, this is all about sustainability. I think that's the number one thing that messes most people up with diets is they're not able to maintain it. So when you begin a diet, it shouldn't even feel like you're dieting, So you definitely want to put yourself in a slight calorie deficit. Then you got to get your lifestyle in order. And I think this is something that gets it doesn't get enough attention in the fitness industry and with fitness professionals, because the reality is I can't make money telling you to sleep 8 to 10 hours a night. I can't make money telling you need to eat more protein, or you need to lower the stress in your life, or that you need to drink more water. I mean, hell, as I'm on the show right now, I'm drinking a gallon of water. Why? Because it's that important. And these are rudimentary basics that a lot of people need to get down before they even go into the more advanced stuff of supplementation, or, hey, should I be doing time under tension training, or should I be doing intermittent fasting and all this other stuff? You need to get down to basics before you apply the more advanced techniques. But I would say putting yourself in a slight calorie deficit, prioritizing weight training. Since you're going into the Marine Corps, you're probably going to have to do some kind of cardiovascular training. If I'm not mistaken, I think their test is pull-ups and a 3-mile run. So you're going to have to add some running in there as well, to get your fitness up. But the big thing I would say is track your calories, man. I don't think enough people do that. And if you track your calories for about a week or two and do it honestly, you're going to see how much you're actually eating, and you're going to realize, holy crap, I'm eating in too much of a surplus, because, there's a lot more calories in food than people tend to believe. So those are just some basics.
I told you that helps. Stuff, guys. Real quick, area code 402. If you have another question, just hold tight for a second. What you guys are seeing on the screen? Yes, this is Myron on the screen. Yes, he's ripped. He's a good-looking guy. There are a lot of guys out here who give, I know my fitness and this and that and the other. Well, guess what? This guy, you can see this guy walks the walk and he talks the talk. The guy is ripped. Dude, when you sent me your Instagram, I was like, holy shit, you really are ripped. That's him, Row and Crew, with guys named Pennington, Thad, and Field, et cetera. All of his frat guys. But and of course, I say that in jest, but I wanted to show guys that, you really are the real deal. This is the reason why I go out of my way. Well, I mean, your shit. And, this in large part, this is the reason why I go to such great lengths to more or less. And a lot of guys say, you show off. You're always posting pictures of Devin and this and that and the other. And is the reason for that to stroke my ego? Yeah, part of the reason is to stroke my ego. I work very hard to get where I am. I work very hard to be able to have control of my life, but I want to show you guys that it can be done. You guys aren't going to believe me unless you guys see that I walk the walk that I talk. Myron clearly does this, and that's why I decided to put half-naked pictures of him on the screen. Big shout out to Brian Smith with a $5 super chat. He says, "No questions, but I thank you, man. I've been back in the gym after getting this red pill knowledge and trying to work on self-reflection. Good for you." Shout out to Pookie and Ray Ray, who has a very interesting icon there. €2 says, "Great topic today, Donovan. Keep up the good work." Area code 402. If you're there, if you have another question, go on. Go ahead.
Oh, no, that's thanks for taking my call, Donovan Sharpe. Keep doing your thing, man. Love your videos.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
No worries, man. Good luck out there.
Good information, man. So he wants to lose a lot of weight quickly. And before we get to the Patreon questions here, a lot of the questions that I seem to get, and I'm not a diet and fitness expert. They see my before and after picture, like, how did you do it, Donovan? Dude, it just takes consistency, like you said, and adherence. I watch what I ate and I exercise. That was it. But what it comes down to is you have to stick with it. I think most diets, just like you say, they work, but they don't work if you don't stick with it. You have to make it a lifestyle. You have to put this on project status. This has to be who and what you are for you to get the results that you want. That being said, as far as macros are concerned, a lot of guys know a lot about macros. And I think your macros are determined a lot by your goals. So what would you tell someone who says, Myron, listen, I want to lose weight, I want to burn fat, but I want to hold on to my muscle. I'm not interested in muscle growth quite yet. I want to hold on to my muscle, but I'm trying to get rid of my fat area. I know all about macros, but I'm unsure about the percentages. Do I go 40-40-20? Do I go 50-50-0? What would you say to a guy like that?
So depending on your goals, and that's great that you prefaced it with, hey, my goal is to retain muscle mass.
Absolutely.
So anytime you go in a calorie deficit, assuming you're training naturally, you're going to have to deal with the fact that you are going to lose a bit of muscle tissue. The trick is the people that diet correctly and the people that diet incorrectly is that the people that diet correctly are able to minimize the lean tissue loss during their diet. And how do you do that? Well, you do that by training intelligently in the gym, challenging yourself, lifting the same heavy weights that got you the muscle in the first place. There's this misconception that lifting light weights for high reps is going to burn the fat. But in reality, your goal when you're in a deficit is to retain the hard-earned muscle that you have. So you have to do the same stimulus that got you the muscle. You have to maintain that to maintain the muscle. So that's number one. Number two, with my clients and my athletes, what I do is I typically increase their protein when they're in a deficit. Why do I do that? I do that because there's a couple reasons. One, protein is pretty metabolically taxing to process. The thermic effect of protein is the highest macronutrient to take in, and that's just a fancy way of you burn more calories metabolizing protein than other macronutrients, fat and carbs.
Okay.
And alcohol as well, but alcohol is another totally different story. But so that's one reason. So you burn more calories. That's why people on keto tend to look leaner, because they're burning more calories just from their diet in itself. And then on top of that, they're not retaining as much water because carbohydrates makes your body store water.
Right.
So that's another reason why keto, it has such fast results for weight loss. And the other reason why is that when you have a higher protein diet, and there's a bunch of studies that show this, that a higher protein diet helps you retain muscle mass while you're in a calorie deficit. To put this in more practical terms, I would suggest at minimum, you want to take 1 gram per pound of body weight. That's just an easy way to go. Some people go a little bit higher, some people go a little bit lower, but at minimum, I would say if you're on a deficit, you want to go 1 gram per pound of body weight at minimum. Me, I tend to go somewhere between 1.2 all the way to 1.6.
Okay.
Depending on how advanced the client is, how their body reacts, how much they need carbs in their diet, what their performance, if they're trying to maximize performance, it's an array of different factors that go into it. But to maintain the lean mass, you definitely want your protein at minimum. I would say 1 gram per pound of body weight.
So you're going to go 1 gram. So let's say a guy is 200 pounds, right? He's 5'5" and he's 200 pounds. Obviously, he's a fatty, right? He wants to lose the weight, but he doesn't want to shrink the muscle. So you're advising this guy, you're going to go 200 grams. You're going to go at least 200 grams of protein. So that's going to make. So what are the other percentages in terms of
So I would have to look and see is the guy morbidly obese? Is the guy fairly lean? It all depends on say if you're really overweight, then you can go with and your body fat percentage is high. I'm talking 17, 18, 19% or higher, as a male.
Mm-hmm.
1 gram per pound of lean body mass if you're like starting out and you're overweight. And I'm glad that you made that distinction there. But yeah, if like someone's very obese, you want to go 1 gram per pound of general. Someone that's like 15% or lower on body fat, and you're just trying to get leaner, you're not like fat, like super fat, then I would say 1 gram per pound of body weight is more than enough.
Okay.
And then if you're lean, you want to increase the protein even more. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, wait. So you've got the protein. What about the carbs and the what's the other one? The carbs and the fat, right? So this 200-pound, guy says, all right, I'm going to eat 200 grams of protein every day. What percentage of carbs should his diet entail, and then what percentage of fats should he be taking in?
So the 40-40-20 that you brought up is a pretty good baseline to go off of, depending on the client. So let's say I have a client that's training pretty intensely with weights and their performance. Then what I do is first I figure out what their protein needs are depending on that person. Then when I figure out what their protein needs are, then I go typically 0.3 per pound of weight and fat, 0.3. Okay. And then I fill in the remaining calories of carbohydrates. And I tend to assume my client's not keto or anything like that. I like to give my clients just because, carbs are the primary fuel source, and that's how that's going to be the main fuel source to lift weights and train hard. So, and it also helps with recovery. So if my guy isn't on keto, I give them as much carbs as possible. And I always like to diet my clients as high as I possibly can and slowly cut the calories. If we can lose a pound a week on, a really high calorie number, beautiful. That's good for me. And we just keep going from there.
Excellent. I do like that. I do like the progressive load technique that you do with the calories. We're going to start you way up at 3,500 calories, then we're going to drop you all the way down. And by the time you're down to 2,600 calories, you're going to be looking good. You're going to be looking definitely going to be looking lean. Let's go answer a couple of these Patreon questions here. These are from my Patreon subscribers here. So the first and by the way, big thanks goes out to Tage the Mage. He says, I've been master swimming and eating broccoli with the $2 super chat. I certainly appreciate that there. So let's go to the first question. It says, here's the background. He says, I'm 27 and I've tried unsuccessfully a number of times to build muscle. My issues are purpose and drive. Around the 6-week mark, my heart becomes disconnected from the effort and I don't see enough gains to get it connected again. This leads to a cycle of me falling off, and then I get motivated by my lack of physique, and the cycle starts again. So the question is, how can I break this cycle? How can I keep my sense of purpose alive? Or is there another dynamic you see that might help me get to the goal of a steady gym life? That's a very good question.
Yeah, so a lot of the times when people aren't seeing results in the gym, I would say most of the time it's because of their behaviors outside of the gym. And the reality is this: you don't grow inside the gym, you grow outside the gym. The gym is merely a stimulus to stimulate growth and change. So you go in the gym, you work hard, you get the hell out, you go home, you recover. So a lot of the times when people, lose motivation or they can't maintain it, it's because they're not getting results. A lot of time it's because of bad lifestyle habits. I like to ask, how many hours a night are you sleeping? How many calories are you taking in a day? Because everyone's calorie requirements are different. Like I might eat a certain amount of calories, Donovan, and I'll get fat, and then you'll eat those same calories and you'll get shredded. Everyone has a different metabolic capacity depending on their age, genetics, their training level, their age, height. There's a whole bunch of factors that play into it. So, how many calories you're eating pursuant to your goals, pursuant to your body type. Are you stressed? Are you working a lot of hours? Are you training correctly in the gym? You'd be amazed at how many guys go to the gym and don't train their legs, or don't do compound movements, or they go in there and they prioritize doing bicep curls when instead they should be doing, pull-ups and rows. You're going to get more benefit doing that than going there and doing isolation movements. So it's always, there's always a bunch of other things when you pull this, when you scratch the surface, you start to figure out what the issues are. And a lot of the times it's just like not getting the fundamentals down, which is like so critical. Fundamentals are so critical.
Absolutely. So as expected, we have a couple of gym bros in here who are going to come in here and say that you don't know what you're talking about. before you address these guys, I would like to say let me see. Hang on just a second.
Of course.
Goy Production says, carbs don't do shit for recovery. Bro doesn't know what he's talking about. Before you answer, a good Goy Productions, I want you to take a look at your screen. Okay, does that look like the physique of a man who doesn't know what he's talking about? Right. So let's see what your physique looks like, and then let's see you come on. Let's see you come on and debate this head to head. Now, of course, I say that in jest because I can't stand it. I can't stand it when people talk shit from afar, like he's behind the chat. Like, fuck that guy. But let's answer the question, right? So he says that carbs don't really do anything for recovery. What say you?
Well, okay, and this is again how it amazes me when people say things like that. Your body recovers off of calories. And what are calories made up of? Your calories are made up of proteins, fats, and carbs. So for him to say that is just ridiculous. Like you grow and you recover from eating and consuming calories. Carbs are calories. 1 gram of carb is 4 calories. So, it is what it is. Guys, there's always going to be trolls, especially like in the fitness industry. There's always going to be people that are going to say foolish things and try to get a reaction out of you.
Talking about,
it is what it is.
Yeah, get Good Goy out of here. Get out of here, Good Goy Production. Listen, even though he's on the screen, he's still in there talking shit. So yeah, at least at this point, it looks like he is greatly ego invested. Oh, then he said, "F you." Yeah, all right, fine. All right, you know what? You have a great day, sir. You have a great day. Dude, honestly, probably a 12-year-old kid. I've been getting a lot of those in here lately, and it would not surprise me if he happened to be one of those. Quickly, let me ask sort of the opposite question that I was asking a little bit earlier. So, what do you say to the guy? Because we had someone put in the chat. Give me 1 second. He said he was skinny fat. Here it is. So Eric Extraordinaire in the chat says, I'm skinny fat. I don't know if it's just body fat or my abs need work. What's your answer to guys like this who are skinny fat or for whatever reason aren't seeing definition?
Well, so definition is nothing more like being defined or being toned or all these terms, or I'm getting ripped. All these terms really, what it breaks down to is a sizable amount of muscle mass with a low enough body fat percentage that shows the definition. That's really all it is. So you're maximizing your muscle to fat ratio is right. What it is. So if you're skinny fat, 9 out of 10 times that tells me you probably don't have enough muscle mass to have an aesthetic physique. So what I would do is I would focus on taking 6 months to a year and literally just building your frame, putting yourself in a slight calorie surplus, focusing on compound movements, being consistent in the gym. And by being consistent in the gym, I mean at least training 3 to 5 days a week, recovering correctly by sleeping, eating vegetables. That's a whole nother topic of people just don't eat enough vegetables. People don't drink enough water. Doing these basic things, you're going to get so much back on it. And like I said, these things aren't advertised because the fitness industry can't make money telling you, hey, eat spinach, drink water, consume enough protein per day, 1 gram per pound of body weight, just to be generic. Because they want to sell you supplements and they want to sell you boot camps and they want to sell you all these other products. But, if you tell the truth, it's very difficult for them to make money on these things because these are things that you are in control of yourself as the athlete. So I would, as a skinny fat person, I would definitely say take some time, put yourself in a calorie surplus, train hard in the gym. You're probably going to see some body recomposition just by nature of training, especially if you're a beginner, where you're going to lose fat and build muscle at the same time, So that's what I would suggest for guys that are skinny fat.
Very good answer, man. I swear to God, every time you talk, I really do learn. It's amazing. This is actually you and I had this conversation about creatine, right? In your mind, creatine, that is one of the, I think, 2 or 3 supplements that every person who trains should take. The other one, I think you said, is a good multivitamin, and then water, right? Water, creatine, and a good multivitamin. I don't know if I'm missing anything else.
A whey protein, but I don't really consider that a supplement. That's more of a food and a convenience food. Mm-hmm. But supplements, man, when it comes to supplements, so one thing I want to get out there real quick is that supplements make a very small difference, and supplements make a difference assuming everything else is on point. Your nutrition's on point, your sleep's on point, you're lowering your stress levels, you're training correctly in the gym, prioritizing progressive overload and, staying away from failure, but giving yourself enough training stimulus to grow. that's another conversation with like RPE scale and everything like that, or rate of perceived exertion. But supplements should be just what it is, to supplement what your current lifestyle and training practices currently are. And creatine, multivitamin, a good quality whey protein, those are just like some staples that like I would take, and a fish oil as well. You know, if you must buy supplements, that's what I recommend, because most supplements, I mean, for lack of a better term, they're bull crap, man.
Right.
They don't work.
They absolutely are. It's almost like the comparison that we made is the motor oil industry tells us to change our oil every 3,000 miles, when it's actually probably closer to 6, maybe even 7. I know people who have gone 10, 15 miles before they change their oil, and their car always runs fine. It's almost so it's like the fitness industry. Oh, you need to load up on creatine and do 10 grams and 20 grams of creatine per day and this and that. That's just so that they can sell you more creatine.
Yeah, so with creatine, so creatine is one of the few supplements, because I don't really consider like a multivitamin and a fish oil like a real like sports supplement. You know, that's like, because that, you know, you can get that at Walmart on the side. But you know, creatine is like the only supplement that like truly works. Like, it's been researched a million times. It works. It just works. Do I personally use creatine? I don't. But if you are going to use a supplement, that is the supplement to use. Now, creatine, a lot of the times, and when you do get creatine, you get the creatine monohydrate, the basic stuff, the cheap stuff, 5 to 10 grams per day, you're set. You know, it's going to take about 3 weeks for it to load into your muscles. You'll be able to store that water in there, and you're going to see some better performance in the gym. A lot of the times, a lot of these supplement industries, they'll tell you, hey, load 20 grams of creatine every day for, you know, multiple weeks at a time. And the reason why they tell you that is so that you can go through the tub faster. The thing is that creatine is very cheap. If you buy the basic monohydrate, it's very cheap. And if you use it correctly, it can last you many months. So they want to make money. What are they going to do? They're going to tell you, hey, 20 grams per day, do this for a month, take a week off, then do it again and again. And it's like, they just want you to go through the tub faster so that they can make more money. But in reality, you only need 5 to 10 grams a day, you know, every day.
Excellent. Good answer. Got a €5 super chat here from Pookie and Ray Ray. He says, what's the best protein source for you? Breast and salmon are often recommended, but I would appreciate your opinion on this.
So the best protein source, and I hate to beat a dead horse here, but it's whatever's best for you. Okay. So if you're a vegan, if you're a you know, one of these paleo guys, or you know, or you're like me, you just flexibly you diet on a flexible manner where you're eating all types of foods, but you're tracking the calories, you know. Me personally, if you're gonna ask me personally, I like ground turkey, fairly lean ground turkey, chicken, fish. I do have whey protein. You know, if I know that I'm not getting enough protein for the day, maybe I've been traveling or doing things, then that's where whey protein comes in really well, because it's a great convenience food to help you hit your macronutrients for protein for the day.
Of course.
But yeah, I tend to have a lot of animal protein. But if you're a vegan, you know, you might have to do tofu or edamame or other, or, you know, there's a lot of vegan proteins out there as well. So it depends on you and your lifestyle, what you can cook, what you prefer to eat. But if you're going to use a basic guideline, I would tend at sources of protein. So, you know, your chicken, your turkey, your lean beefs, you know, because you don't want to be taking in too many calories when you're eating your protein. You know what I mean? If you can avoid it, unless you're like trying to build.
Yeah, listen, I learned that the hard way this weekend. Before I had a talk with you, I went out and bought a bunch of ribeye steaks. Awesome. I'm going to see how much 16 grams of ribeye steak. Whoa, holy shit. Right? Like the fat, like the lean protein is there, but dude, the fat content is super high. Great for keto. Yeah. But not good for not trying to blow past your macros. Hey, listen, lesson learned. That's it goes.
And just so people know, oh, sorry, go ahead, Donovan.
No, go ahead.
Like with fat, the thing about fat is that it's not like fat's bad for you, it's going to kill you. It's just that, you know, you need to be cognizant that 1 gram of fat is 9 calories versus 1 gram of carb is 4 calories and 1 calorie. So, you know, you take in, you know, 20 grams of fat, you know, 20 times 9, my math sucks, but that's going to be substantially more calorie dense than 20 grams of carbs.
Of course. Absolutely. Yeah, that makes all the sense in the world. The Mage Rage says broccoli versus spinach. Which one?
Both are excellent.
Okay.
Yeah, my top vegetables are spinach, kale, broccoli.
Okay. Very good. Very good. All right, let's go back to the oops, wait a minute. That's not what I wanted to do. Oh, yeah, that is what I wanted to do. Hang on. All right, so let's go to the let's go back to the Patreon questions here. There we are. Let's go to the next one here. All right. So question number 2 says, Donovan, man, longtime listener, patron, and deep impact consults help very much. I turned 39 on Monday, and I'm average built guy. So how would I be able to put on mass and real strength, being that I'm on the back end of my physical peak? I read once you approach 40, it's pretty much downhill. So I want to know how I get started, nutrition and workout plans. As always, thanks, Donovan, and TSR for life. Signed, Lance. So Lance is turning 39 tomorrow, actually, and what he is hearing is what we all hear. What I can tell you is that at 40 years old, I mean, I'm 42. At 42 years old, I know that I am capable of getting into the best shape of my life. And of course, that's because of the the TRT and the HGH. But assuming that this guy doesn't want to do that, what would you advise guys who are approaching 40 or in their 40s to do as far as building real strength, building muscle, burning fat, et cetera, et cetera?
Well, I would first get my lifestyle habit to check. I'd make sure that I'm sleeping enough, I'm drinking enough water. The rudimentary basics that we've discussed. I don't want to beat a dead horse. Then once you got that figured out, figure out how many days a week can you go to the gym? Like how many days can you honestly go? Because again, adherence is the most important thing. If I give someone a plan and I have them in the gym 5 days a week and they can't go 5 days a week, they can only go 2 or 3. Well, then I need to change that plan to make sure that they're getting everything they need, getting in the appropriate volume in those 3 days. So figure out how many days a week can you go to the gym. Once you have that figured out, go start following a regimented program that has you progressively getting stronger over time. And getting stronger, which is basically just basically progressive overload. And progressive overload takes many different facets. Sorry, Donovan, were you gonna say something?
No, I was agreeing with you. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So a progressive overload, whether it be increasing weight over the bar, weight on the bar over time, or you're doing more reps, or you're able to do the same exercise with less rest. Maybe you're doing it with better form. Maybe you're able to superset it with another exercise without rest. Like these are all different ways to see that you're progressing in the gym. And as long as you're progressing, you're doing something right. So, so that's what I would say. I would say get your lifestyle in check. Once you get that in check, how many days a week can you go to the gym? Those, whatever amount of days you can go. If you can go 3 days, awesome. If you can go 4 days, even better. If you can go 5, that's optimal, in my opinion. 4 to 5 days is optimal. Perfect. Then once you got that figured out, figure out what your calorie needs are. So I would track your calories, use MyFitnessPal or one of these. There's a bunch of apps out there, and figure out how many calories you're taking in a day, right? And when you figure that out, put yourself in a slight surplus. Why? So that you can build muscle, because muscle is pretty much built on calories. And if you put yourself in a slight surplus, you can gain some muscle mass while minimizing the fat gain, because you don't want to go 1,000 calories in a surplus and get fat. And go on a dirty bulk, which you can do that too. I've done it, but I'm not an advocate of that.
Yeah, listen, I remember you told me you did a dirty bulk for like a year. You got to like 250 pounds and you were a complete fat ass.
Yeah.
You went ahead and slipped all the way. What are you, like 205, 210 now or something like that?
Yeah, right now. So I'm 6'3". I'm 205 right now at the moment. It was an experiment I did where I basically took about a year and a half to get on a dirty bulk. I just was eating tacos. I was living in Texas at the time. I was eating tacos and crappy food, and I just shot up in weight. And it took me, and it took me 7 months, Donovan, to lose the weight. I obviously dieted very slow. I was losing no more than 1 to 2 pounds a week. And I tracked the whole thing, and I was like meticulously tracking my food and eating the same foods all the time to make things consistent. But I would never do it again. I felt like crap. I didn't feel good. My performance kind of suffered, because once you get too fat, you start getting diminishing returns on your strength.
Yeah, you don't need that. I got a question for my girlfriend, Devin. She's getting strength gains in the gym. She's getting strength gains in the gym, but little physical change. Which needs to change more, her diet or her workout? Does she need to work out more, or does she need to tighten up her diet?
So she's getting better in the gym, so her performance is getting better, but her body isn't changing.
Her performance is it's out of this world.
Okay. So it depends on what her goals are. So there's a lot of athletes where performance is the main thing. I don't really care about my body composition, I want to lift 315 pounds for reps.
Okay.
If that's the case, then then body composition comes second to performance. But if body composition is first, then I will start looking into the nutrition. Are you in a calorie surplus? Are you in a calorie deficit? If you're trying to lose weight, you need to put yourself in a calorie deficit and do it consistently over a prolonged period of time. You're going to lose weight and get to the body that you want, assuming that is your goal, which is fat loss, while minimizing, obviously, muscle loss, which we discussed earlier, by keeping your protein high and keeping yourself in a slight deficit.
Excellent. One of the overarching main running consistent themes, as far as you're concerned, is adherence, right? Adherence. Guys, if you're going to do something, you have to stick to it. But in order to stick to it, just like you said, you can't say, well, I'm going to go to the gym 6 days a week, but then you figure out you can only go to the gym 3 times a week. You're not going to stick to that because you're going to get discouraged, right? So if you're going to
Absolutely.
do something, make sure it is doable. How important is it for guys to be realistic about the time they can put into their physical training?
Yeah, so that's an excellent question, Donovan. Holy crap. So the issue I kind of think here is that we live in a world today where it's the world of instant gratification. You can pick up your phone and order an Uber to your house in 2 minutes. You can order Uber Eats and have food delivered to you.
Oh, God.
You have Netflix. You have the internet. People no longer really like. There's instant gratification everywhere you look.
Even
so fitness is one of the few things.
Next day, I ordered a backpack. I ordered a backpack yesterday. Is at my doorstep today. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Amazon is killing everybody. So
they are.
So and that's the world we live in. But unfortunately, I think what a lot of people don't understand is that fitness doesn't fall into that category. It really is a time-based thing. I always say that consistency plus time equals results. Even if your programming isn't the most optimal, but you're consistent about it, you're going to get some kind of result. I'd rather do less optimal training and be consistent than have the most optimal training ever and not be consistent. Right. Because consistency is literally like the lifeblood of fitness. Like you have to do it. You have to be consistent and do it over a prolonged period of time to see the results, because fitness is a time thing. So yeah, I think guys just have to be comfortable with the fact that like it's going to take time. If your goal is to get shredded, and you're starting off at like 30% body fat, well, you're going to have to be happy with you're going to have to like accept the fact that it's going to take you a few months to lose that weight. Or you could take a shortcut. You can crash diet. You can run 10 miles a day. You can start eating 1,000 calories a day, and yes, you're going to lose the weight, but that's not sustainable. Yeah.
Right. Right. Yeah, steroids are not sustainable. I mean,
so
we all see Ronnie Coleman and Jay Cutler. They look great, but bodybuilders are unhealthy people. Right, they are unhealthy people. I mean, cholesterol is through the roof. So, and I know I kind of went off on a tangent there, but I just wanted to highlight again.
That was a good question.
Well,
excellent question.
The thing is so many guys, they set high goals for themselves, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's not, and this isn't to say if you want to get to, I want to get to single digit body fat, right? And you're at 30% body fat. Okay, that's certainly possible. But you have to understand that it is going to take time and it's going to take consistency. And what a lot of guys do is they see themselves at 9-8% body fat, and they look at their 30% body fat self in the mirror. They're like, dude, I got to do something about this now. And they do unhealthy things, like they crash diet, running 10 miles a day. Dude, that's hell on your joints. I don't care how young you are. They do intense cardio. Like, dude, a couple of years back, I did spin class. That ate into, and I was as defined as I ever was. But, dude, my muscle mass suffered. So it's very important that guys understand that setting unrealistic goals is not necessarily a bad thing, but setting unrealistic expectations to meet that goal, that I think can set some can set people back, almost back to the beginning, and probably even worse in a lot of cases.
Yeah, and honestly, it's not a race. People got to understand that this is a marathon. It's a journey. And what you have to do is you got to create a blueprint that works for you. If you can only go to the gym 2 days a week, well, hell, I'll work with you. We'll figure out something where we're getting in the appropriate volume and intensity within only 2 days. But that's better than going, no days a week because you feel discouraged because you can't make it to the gym 5 days. A lot of people give up when they're like, like a lot of people, they'll have they'll get dietitian or a coach, and the coach will tell them, all right, no carbs. You got to just eat straight protein and fat. And then they accidentally take in some carbs, or they just can't help themselves and they eat a bag of candy, and then they're like, well, you know what? It's over. I don't care. And they just like piss away the rest of the day. And that's never a good way to go.
Absolutely. Good answers here, guys. If you want to get in on the conversation, 914-205-5356. If you have questions, you guys can chat them in. I'm going to prioritize super chat questions. When we get to the end, if there's time, I'll go in. I'll go in and I'll see if there are any non-super chat questions that we can talk about here. Let's go to the next Patreon question here. All right, he goes on about okay. So he goes on about feminism. He says, "My question to you about diet and fitness is about the products you talk about on your podcast, Gorilla Mind Rush and Four Sigmatic Mushroom Coffee. I am 43 years old, and I have embraced the intermittent fasting lifestyle. I've been very successful with this lifestyle, losing 40 pounds and significantly increasing my muscle mass. If I took either of these products in the morning, would it break my fast? My routine is 18 hours fasting, 6-hour eating window." I don't have the answer to that. What are your thoughts on that?
I've never used Gorilla Mind Rush, but I've heard good things. I would say I wouldn't consider caffeine. Sorry, what was that, Donovan?
No, I was agreeing with you. Yeah, dude, GMR is crazy.
Yeah, I've heard good things, man. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't consider. So right here, this is an example of someone that if they were to tell me, hey, I do intermittent fasting, and he's been consistent with it. He's lost 40 pounds and he's been doing it for a while. Then this is where a diet works. You know, he's sustaining to it. He's adhering to it. He's adhering to it, and he's been making it sustainable. So that's important. So it's helped him lose the weight. Now, as far as caffeine goes, me personally, I like to drink, energy drinks. I know that's not like the best thing for you,
of course,
but or I like to take pre-workout, but I do it sparingly. I personally don't think if you have like a cup of black coffee or something like that, it's going to really break your fast. I know a lot of people that like to have train fasted, and they'll have a cup of black coffee and they'll go to the gym and train. I don't really think that breaks your fast because it's like 0 calories, black coffee.
Yeah, there are no calories in coffee. The calories come from the sugar and creamer and all of that.
Exactly.
Frappuccino nonsense.
Exactly.
Good question though. And that's actually a very good intermittent fasting technique there. We got a $5 super chat here from Aunt B. He says, Donovan, I'm training hard and I'm down 90 pounds in 5 months. Still got another 40 pounds to go to get ripped, but it's getting harder to lose. Any tips? So it appears that Aunt B has hit a plateau. So what would you advise guys getting unbelievable results? They're working hard. They're being consistent. They're sticking with the program. Adherence is key. Diet, everything is tight. But now they've got to the point to where they're getting diminishing returns. What is your advice to guys who are getting great results, but they seem to have hit a wall?
So the thing about plateaus is, I like to call it's like taxes. It's coming. No matter what you think, it's
My God,
it's coming. So plateaus are inevitable. Like whether you're dieting, whether you're in the gym training with weights, like they're always going to come. So you have to find a way to be creative to break through that plateau to continue to get results. Now with this, I wish I had a little bit more information. I'd like to know what his primary methodology of training is. He's lost obviously an enormous amount of weight. But is he prioritizing weight training? Is he doing cardio? Because then that would be able to better tell me why he possibly hit a plateau and how to break through it. Now, I will say this, just to kind of cover all bases here. This is why I like to use cardio as a tool, right? I know a lot of people like to use cardio as like the primary methodology of training to lose weight, and I don't think that's a good. Yeah.
That's what I'm doing. Yeah.
Cardio should always be used as a tool to help put yourself and it's basically to help you get to the bottom line, which is what? A calorie deficit.
Right.
So whenever you make cardio your primary methodology of training, it's almost inevitable that you're going to hit a sticking point. And the reason for that is quite simply coming from an endurance athlete background. The more and more you do cardio, the more and more fit you get. The more and more fit you get, the less calories you burn doing same set activity. So let's say I run a mile and I burn, just for purposes of being easy here, 1 mile, I burn 100 calories, right? On my first day. I do this for weeks on end. It's going to get to a point where I'm going to start burning 75, then 50 calories for that same mile that I'm running. Why is that? Because I'm getting more efficient. I'm getting more fit. So So cardio always has, if it's like your predominant form of training for fat loss, if your goal is to recomposition your body and get lean and aesthetic, then cardio should only be used as a tool, which seeing here that much weight in that short amount of time, 90 pounds in 5 months, I'm willing to bet that he probably did quite a bit of cardio.
That is unbelievable, man. I'm not a math physician. Was that 15, 17 pounds a month, something like that?
Yeah, that's wild, man. That's wild. So he probably started off fairly obese, and did cardio. Which cardio will if you're starting off like super percentage, cardio is definitely going to help you lose weight quickly. But cardio isn't really going to help you recomposition your body for the better. That's the weight training. I like to think of cardio. All cardio really does is kind of what you already have. It's not going to really change your body composition for the better. The way people want to look.
This because I think I might be starting to wrap my head around this. So let's say you have two people, okay? One person or could be more than two, but just give me some time just to sort of talk through this. Let's say we have one guy who wants to build strength. He's not really worried about his aesthetic fitness. We have another guy who wants to build muscle, and we have another guy who wants to lose fat, right? At some point, they're all going to hit a plateau. The strongman's not going to be able to. So when the strongman hits a plateau, what this means, and correct me if I'm wrong, is if you are training for strength, this is why progressive load is important. Because if you're bench pressing 225 pounds for 5 straight months, okay, so for the first few weeks, you're going to build that muscle, but eventually your muscle's going to stop building because you're more efficient, you're stronger, you're lifting 225 pounds a lot easier. So you're not really getting as much out of lifting that same weight. Well, it's the same with cardio. Just like you said, you run 1 mile, you burn 100 calories. You do that for 2 weeks. By the time you hit week 3, you're probably burning 75 calories, right? So I think what I could maybe, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, to take a stab at this. So the guy has hit a plateau at this point. He's lost 90 pounds. He wants to lose the next 40. Would I be wrong in saying that if I were this guy, what I would do is I would cut back my calories a little bit. Okay. I would put myself in a little better calorie deficit. And then I would decrease my carbs and increase my protein. Does that sound about right? Because again, if he's just looking to lose fat, that appears to be the solution. Right, wrong, indifferent? What say you?
I honestly think we just don't have enough information. Okay. We would need to know a couple of things. We need to know how old this guy is. What his training experience is. What he's been doing as far as like what got him to this weight loss in the first place. What was his primary methodology of training that got him there? His genetics, his body type. It takes to accurately answer that question. I would have to know more information to be able to give an educated answer. Obviously, I'm speaking generally here as far as that. I believe just from the little information he gave us that he probably did a lot of cardio, just by how quickly he lost weight, and for probably a pretty drastic calorie deficit. Losing 17 pounds in a month is and then that also tells me he probably started out higher body fat percentage too. Right. So. But I just like to know a little bit more information to be more educated about it.
A lot of weight in the beginning because they have more weight to lose, right?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And it's a new stimulus, so your body reacts to it like when you go to the gym. This is why I think it's people that have 1 year or less of organized training. They're some of the best people to go to the gym because anything they do is going to work. You know what I mean? Not anything, but if they go to the gym and they train with compound movements 3 times a week, they're going to see some excellent results. You know what I mean? And they might even, like I said, they'll probably burn fat and build muscle at the same time, which is very difficult to do. Like me, I would kill if I could do that. But I'm advanced now. I got to pretty much either put myself in a deficit or a surplus to build mass or lose fat. But as a beginner, you can really reposition yourself.
Listen, I don't know. You could do a dirty bulk and put yourself to the point where you get a lot out of that. I mean, you could probably do that.
Yeah. We got never again, man. That was the worst out of it.
From Ant B. I think he just wants to know what your thoughts are on this. 3-day fasts on salt water with an 800 calorie refeed, light weights throughout the week, and heavy on refeed days with 1 hour walking twice a day. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh man. So it depends on your goals. I'll tell you this: if your goal is to build muscle and build an aesthetic physique, that is not the way to do it right there.
Okay.
Because 3-day fast on salt water. Yeah, no. If your goal is to build muscle and get an aesthetic physique, I wouldn't do that. That's to me. If you want to lose weight, yeah, you're clearly going to lose weight. But it comes back to, do you think this is sustainable, Donovan? For most people, this isn't. You know what I mean? So. Right. I wouldn't. Whenever like a diet is like super wacky or has you doing like ridiculous things, I'm not a fan, man. Because my thing is adherence. Can you stick to this?
Yes.
If you can stick to it, awesome. But most of the time people can't stick to it. Now, on top of that, if your goal is to improve your body composition, you need to go in the gym and train hard. If you're eating 800 calories, 800 calorie refeed, like what? You're not going to be able to go into the gym and train hard and build muscle off that.
Right.
Yeah,
that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, so I wouldn't suggest that for anyone trying to improve their body composition.
Okay, very good. Good answer. I've got a question here from Sharpe Assist, who's making an appearance. He asks, are genetic tests for diet worth it? I've never heard of that before.
Genetic tests, or what was it? What was that thing? Diet?
I think some people get genetic testing, like this is the way your body is comprised, and because your genetics are X, Y, and Z, your best diet is going to be A, B, and C. What are your thoughts on that? Or should you just go through trial and error?
So, okay, I've never done genetic testing, to be honest, so I don't know enough to speak on it.
Okay.
But what I will say is that there's no better assessor of yourself than yourself. And after a couple years of training, you'll start to realize what your body responds well to, what your body doesn't respond well to. And I think being able to figure that out is half the battle. And because everyone is different, and that's, you can give like certain general guidelines, but at the end of the day, everyone is different. Everyone has different genetic capacities to build muscle, lose fat, and how their body's going to be shaped. So at the end of the day, it's very user based, but I think it's important to really figure out what's good for you.
Okay, very good. I guess to sort of bring it back around to the Patreon question, would Four Sigmatic coffee or Gorilla Mind Rush break your fast? I think if there is any sort of caloric value to it, I think that would probably break your fast. I don't think, I don't know. Let me look at the bottle here. I don't see servings. I see the servings. I don't see any calorie information on Gorilla Mind Rush and Four Sigmatic coffee. There are absolutely zero. There are no calories in Four Sigmatic coffee with lion's mane and chaga. So as long as you are not taking in calories, then I think at that point, you keep your fast. You certainly keep your fast alive and well. Let's go to the next question.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No. I agree with you because I know a lot of people that intermittent fast and they'll have a cup of coffee and water when they wake up and go to the gym, and they don't consider that to break their fast.
Right. Okay. Good. So people. Okay. Very good. Very good. It's good to get that anecdotal.
Yeah, for sure.
Next question is Donovan. I am 40. I always have difficulty to complete a normal sit-up crunch. Even if I reduce my 20x3 set, at the end my abs contract for 5 to 10 minutes. Can't stand up to do something else. I must wait. Are there other exercises to target these abs? I'll let you answer this one, Myron. What this guy is talking about, I didn't realize this when I read it for the first time. He's talking about abdominal cramping. I suffer from severe abdominal cramps. I don't know why. I don't have a condition, but here's what I did, patron, whoever wrote this in. When you are doing abdominal work and you all of a sudden start cramping, get a packet of salt. Take a packet of salt, drink some Gatorade, okay? Stretch out for about a minute and a half or so. The cramps will be gone, right? And dude, guys, I'm telling you, I have had this problem. When I hired Devin, a personal trainer, she still trains her to this day. And I went down there and I did a couple of personal training sessions with them just to make sure I was getting my money's worth. And she had Devin doing heavy ab exercises, planks and crunches, all this other kind of stuff. It was always on my second set. My abs would seize up. Only when I figured out, okay, take a packet of salt, eat that. I guess it's just because there's not much. I guess maybe I was dehydrated, whatever the case may be. Maybe it was a cramp. And of course, for cramps, what do? You chug a bunch of Gatorade. That's what football players do. They're playing down in Florida, Louisiana. It's hot. They're sweating. They're losing a lot of water. They do the Gatorade, cramp gone. What say you about this? Have you ever heard about this particular problem? And if you have, what's the best way to handle it?
So when it's things like this, a lot of times it can be fixed just from like, proper nutrition, which is why I always say drink water, eat vegetables. A rule of thumb for me when it comes to water intake, because cramps usually typically, you can fix that just from drinking water and getting your potassium up, which bananas have a lot of potassium. My rule of thumb is when you're drinking water, you want to be urinating clear, almost clear. That's how you know you're adequately hydrated. A lot of people say, "Oh, that's overkill. You just need to be straw yellow." Well, you know what?
Water,
always overshoot.
Right.
Always overshoot. Yeah, you can't drink enough. You know what I mean? Especially if you live like here in Florida or you live in Texas or anywhere else where it's pretty hot or humid. You need to up your water intake. As far as this goes, exercises to do to target the abs. I mean, me personally, what I like to do is I like to do one upper exercise, one lower exercise, and one static hold. So there's many different exercises you can do. Basically, anytime you crunch your body forward like this, you're hitting your upper abs. Anytime you're raising your leg, you're hitting your lower abs.
Okay.
And then I like to do a static hold. So I'll do like maybe some sit-ups and or maybe some crunches, maybe some bicycle kicks, which works both. And then I'll do leg raises for my lower abs, and then I'll do a static hold, which is a plank, for 30 seconds to a minute, and I'll superset all three. So I'll do like 20 sit-ups, then I'll do some leg raises, and then I'll do a plank hold. I'll rest about 30 seconds to a minute, then I'll do that round again, and I'll do that like 4 or 5 times at the end of a workout.
Here's something that I can probably offer to the conversation is compound lifts. When you deadlift, you are absolutely engaging your core. When you're squatting, yes, you're absolutely engaging your core. Your core keeps you stabilized. Even the standing overhead press, you're engaging your core, because if you don't, you're going to tip over and you're going to split yourself in half. So I think what a lot of people don't realize is that you don't have to do crunches or target your abs to work your core. You can do compound exercises, and I think I don't know about the level of results, but I think that compound exercises are as effective as isolated crunches and things of that nature. I mean, do you agree with that?
They've done EMGs and they've shown that, like, obviously direct work always like stimulates, the core a little harder than doing the compound movements. But at the end of the day, yeah, like doing squats, doing deadlifts, doing barbell rows, anything where you have to stabilize yourself is going to activate your core quite a bit. Pull-ups. Hell, you can do dumbbell curls and work your core.
There you go.
Because a lot of people like to bob and weave as they're doing their curls. I personally like to retract my shoulder blades back, right? Get nice and tight and keep my body firm. And how do you do that? By engaging your core. So you can virtually activate your core during any exercise. So do you need to do direct ab work? No, you really don't. But will it hurt you? No, it won't. And, at the end of the day, if you have the time, why not do it? But it's not mandatory, You
know what? I actually think that ab exercises are like cardio. It's just used as a supplement to what you're doing. That's the way I would probably.
Exactly. Yeah.
We're gonna go for a few more minutes here. We've got one more question. I've got a caller on the line. Area code, I think this is 614. I don't know if you're calling from out of the country or if you're area code 614, but you are on live with Donovan and Myron. Go ahead.
Hi guys. Yeah, I am. I'm from Sydney, Australia. How are you guys going?
Doing good, man.
How are you?
Yeah, so I'm the guy that was super chatting. You guys wanted some more information on what I was doing, and I did
perfect.
Super chat and put in the chat, but I don't know whether you guys saw. So basically, I started out when me and my ex broke up. We were together for about 8.5 years, and then I decided to start training. So one of the first things that I did was I cut off the internet at home. I moved into an isolated area, so there's no distractions, and I basically just work and train.
Wow.
So what I've been doing to drop the weight is I do a 3-day fast on salt water. That was the second super chat to tell you what I was doing when I was massively overweight. And then what I do is I do the same workout all the time, deadlift, compound movements and stuff. But on the days that I fast, the 3 days that I fast, I have salt water to stop the cramping. And then on the third day, when I do my refeed, that's when I do heavy lift 5x5. I've mentioned that, I'm doing 0 carbs. So basically my meals is just like steak and spinach and mushrooms. On top of that, so far I've been doing DEXA scans every month, and
my muscle mass has been going up by a couple of percent every month, but my body fat, I think it's down all up like maybe about like 20% roughly. So I'm fairly close to being ripped from, being grossly obese.
So this is the guy that
Donovan, I'm catching him a little bit. I'm catching him like a lot of it's cutting in and now, so I might need you to tell me.
No, that's quite all right. This is the guy that lost 90 pounds in that short period of time. And we just lost him. What he was doing, he said, listen, I would do a 3-day water fast, the 3-day saltwater fast, and he didn't work out during those days. Then he would load up on just protein and protein alone, and then he would go and lift heavy. And so based on, and I think he said he was in his 40s. If I'm not mistaken, I didn't quite hear that, but I think he's in his early 40s. So he's plateaued. So what would your advice be to that guy if he's plateaued? He's got 40 more pounds, presumably of fat to lose, and he's plateaued. So based on what we know now about him, what would you advise him to do? What direction should he go?
So he was doing a water fast to lose the weight. That's how he lost it. He was, and how many calories was he taking in?
He would go. He didn't tell us that. Put that in the chat now that we know who you are. He would do a 3-day saltwater fast, and then I don't know if he told us how many calories he was taking in, but basically his diet consisted of bacon, mushroom, spinach, and steak. That was pretty much it.
So he would be while drinking this salt water?
No, he would do that on the days that he was not.
Oh, okay. So on the 4th day, he would actually consume like real food.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
I mean, and he did that for a while. Since we don't know how many calories he's taking in, it's tough to tell. But if based on the limited information we have, I would say probably what he did was he inadvertently lowered his own metabolic capacity by consuming such few calories over over this time span. So there's a lot of fight in the scientific community about metabolic damage. Is it real? Is it not? The one thing I know is that your body definitely can adapt. So if you're taking in a low amount of calories over a prolonged period of time, what you're effectively doing is limiting your body's ability to be less efficient with burning calories. And the way I kind of put this up is your goal as someone who wants to like optimize body composition or build muscle or have a high muscle to fat ratio is you want your body to run like a Lamborghini. And what I mean by that, your body to be extremely inefficient with gas, aka calories, so that when you're just sitting around, you're burning calories at rest. Why? Calories, and you don't get fat because your body is basically turned into an incinerator. When you diet on low calories on a prolonged period of time, you basically teach your body to become a Honda, which where your BMR goes down, which is basically your basal metabolic rate, right? That's basically the metabolic rate just to keep the freaking lights on, right? That goes down and your capacity to burn calories goes. Your body, people got to understand that like your body it's not looking to, be aesthetic on the beach and talk to chicks. It's designed to survive. So when you take in less calories, and now the threshold gets lower, and you no longer burn fat at that same calorie level because your body's like holding on to that fat because it's like, well, we're in starvation mode. So that's what I'm thinking is probably happening here from the limited information is that he's basically trained his body to become a Honda Civic, which is not what you want.
Wow. Listen, that I could not think of a better analogy than that. You want your body to run like a Lamborghini. Lamborghinis get 3 miles to the gallon, right? Okay, but a Honda Civic
exactly.
gets 333 miles to the gallon, which is great for cars, but not for bodies. It's the same concept as cardio. You can do spin class and burn 700 calories. You keep doing that in a month, you're not going to be burning 700 calories anymore with the same effort. It just doesn't work that way. So that's
assuming you're maintaining the same intensity, which most people do when they do cardio. They run at the same pace. I run an 8-mile pace and I'm training for run. Well, you're going to burn less calories running at that same pace over a prolonged period of time because you're just getting more and more fit and more efficient at it. So,
wow, that was an unbelievable analogy. Let's go to our last Patreon question here. And once again, guys, Myron Gaines, dude, I think it's fairly clear that you are absolutely you're an expert in this stuff, man. I've never heard anyone talk about diet and fitness on this level. So suffice it to say,
Thank you, Donovan.
Here that yeah, absolutely, man. We thank you for coming on and giving us information. So last question. He wants to know, how much cardio do you suggest for a hard gainer? I'm about 175, but I seem kind of small. I'm trying to build muscle and see my abs. This is a fastball right down the middle with the count at 3 and 1.
This question hits home for me because growing up, I was an ectomorph, which is basically a fancy way of saying a hard gainer, someone that can barely build muscle mass. And
right.
I struggled with this too. And the thing as an ectomorph was that I needed to limit my cardio. I needed to prioritize the weight training, and I needed to focus on building lean mass by putting myself in a calorie surplus, which is difficult in capacity. So I basically did everything to avoid anything that would keep me from being in a calorie surplus. And cardio, a lot of the times, it burns calories. And what does that do? It burns calories, puts you either at maintenance or a deficit, and that's not what you want as a hard gainer. And, to build muscle as a hard gainer, 9 out of 10 times, you're probably going to have to put yourself in a slight surplus. So I would minimize the cardio. I would train intensely with the weights, because when you train intensely with the weights, you're going to get the same cardiovascular benefit. Not the same exact cardiovascular benefits, but you are going to get cardiovascular benefits.
Calorie is a calorie,
and
right?
I would focus on building mass. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to like a calorie is a calorie when it comes to like, an energy surplus or energy deficit for sure, when it comes to that. But I would really focus as a hard gainer on taking 6 months to a year and putting on as much lean mass as possible, then taking or longer, especially if you're a beginner, I would take 2 to 3 years to really focus on building mass. Then you take 6 to 7 months where you go on a regimented cut or, prolonged period of a calorie deficit. And then you get lean and you see, what you have underneath there. And then you repeat and go back on a surplus and go back on a muscle building phase. That's what I would suggest for hard gainer. That's what I did.
Excellent. Very good. Myron, tell guys where to actually, before I do this, I'm gonna definitely give you a plug. So I downloaded Myron's mobile app, and dude, I gotta tell you, man, this dude customized literally everything for me. I don't even have to think. It's almost like I get up and I touch the phone to my head and I know exactly what to do. Dude, if whatever your goals are, just like you said, if you're looking to optimize body composition, which is my goal, if you're looking to shred, if you're looking for performance, if you want to build muscle, if you want to just get stronger, this guy can and will point you dude, he will get you right. So tell them where to find you, your website, Instagram, etc.
Thank you, Donovan. My Instagram is unplugfit, unplug and then fit, one word. And that's where I do most of my social media. I basically post on there. I put like informative stuff where I put like science-backed articles on, whether, talking about cardio or fitness or lifting or how to build muscle or protein intake, a bunch of things like that. So that's pretty much the best way to find me is on there.
Okay. So at Instagram, on Instagram as at unplugfit, that is UNPLUGFIT. That's one word, or you can just type in Myron Gaines. I actually like that. Yeah, I really like that word, Myron. Those are my gains, Myron.
Myron Gaines.
Excellent. I love
my app. It's on. Oh, my website. Sorry. It's www.unpluggedfitnesslife.com. Again, that's www.unpluggedfitnesslife.com. And the way I train my clients, like Donovan was saying, was I basically have an app that takes care of all the guesswork. I assign your calorie needs. I do a consultation with the potential client. Hey, what are your goals? And if their goals are aligned with my expertises, I take them on. If they don't, then I point them in a direction of someone that can better assist them. Because at the end of the day, it's all about integrity here. You know what I mean?
Of course.
If I don't know, if I'm not an expert in that field, if someone wants to get better for like athletic training, hey, I want to be a better baseball player. Like, I'm not your guy. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So, but if you want to improve your aesthetics, muscle to fat ratio, improve your powerlifting lifts, your squats, your deadlifts, your benches, overhead press, or you want to improve your rowing endurance, because I did row at level, definitely hit me up. My app takes care of everything where I basically put in your calories for you, put in your workouts for you, and you just open it up and it basically tells you exactly what to do with rest periods and everything like that. It's no guesswork, you know?
No,
it really is what it is.
Something else that Myron does that I'm very hang on one second real quick. I'm going to go get some of the equipment that I've got. Hang on.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, I couldn't find my powerlifting shoes, but so I got a new pair of powerlifting shoes. I got the knee sleeves, and this whole time I had been lifting weights with what I thought was the right weightlifting belt. This is absolutely what you should be lifting with. Okay, right? So not only will this guy point you in the right direction in terms of what to do, how to do it, diet, fitness, et cetera, he tells you the equipment to get. Okay, I'm telling you, this guy, obviously, you guys know what he looks like. If you don't know, go back to the beginning, all right? Go back to the beginning and don't watch this with your girl, because then instead of drinking Gatorade, you'll end up drinking Haterade. The guy's in fantastic shape. I cannot wait to become a walking billboard, because the next place that Devin and I are going to be getting, it's going to have a garage, and I'm going to turn that into a, how can I put it? Like, you see my studio here, the steady improvements I've made. This is going to be the most glorious home gym ever. And I'm going to be doing podcasts from that home gym. And again, this is a year from now. This is going to be all based on what I've learned so far. I'd love to have Myron on, or if you want to fly out here to Philly, I'd love to have you on to do this kind of stuff. This guy, again, I've been around a long time. I'm 42 years old. I've seen it all. I've done it all. I've heard it all. But this guy is absolutely, he's the best. He is truly an expert. If you guys haven't figured that out by now, just by listening to this guy, then you're obviously not, you're not listening very well. Myron, I cannot thank you enough for coming on and spending time with us today.
Thank you, Donovan, for having me, man.
There in Miami, man.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me. It was fun.
Absolutely. You guys can find him again at Unplugged Fit on Instagram. UnpluggedFitnessLife.com is his website. Join me tomorrow night. TSR Live now goes to TSR Primetime. I'm not going to be on at noon Eastern. I'm going to be on at 6 Eastern. That's going to be Monday through Thursday evenings at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Thanks for watching, guys. We will see you tomorrow at 6 o'clock p.m.